Welcome back to the fourth video of my 30-day reflection challenge. The rules of this challenge, if you want to join in, is just for 30 days to reflect upon stuff in your life from past, present, maybe think forward to the future about some things you want to do and just reflect on what you did, why you did it, how it played out, when it happened, where it happened, all those kinds of things, and just, digest. Hopefully you learn something new. Hopefully you learn something about other people as you make your own reflections about yourself. It can go any direction. You don't have to post the videos on Facebook, on social media at all. It don't gotta be just Facebook, but social media at all. You could just write notes, write a journal, keep it to yourself. I just gotta put that out there just in case anybody wants to join in. That's just the rules. It don't gotta be public like me. You can keep it to yourself. So let's get straight to this topic because this is going to be touchy for me, at least maybe you too. We're gonna be talking about bullying. I'm sharing my little experience with bullying, how I feel about that, what that did to me, what that does to other people, the role that bullying plays in our society. So first of all, I mentioned in the previous videos in my 30-day challenge reflection, if you need a short way of hearing the rest of my story, go watch those other 3 videos. If not, I got other videos where I talked about the same thing, but just in different methods and centered around a certain topic. But right here, we talking about bullying and bullying alone. Look, we start. So like I mentioned in other videos, right? 3rd grade, 4th grade, tough years for me. I'm gonna always keep mentioning that, unfortunately. 3rd grade, right? Quiet. I was quiet. Didn't really have no friends. Wasn't really super social. Wasn't really like active like that. Opens you up for target. You are a target immediately. We know this about people. People who's quiet, people who keep to themselves, people who don't come back fast when someone attacks them and makes a joke on them, target. If you cry easily, if you don't respond a certain way, target. Easy. And especially if people know they can get away with it, target. You are. And I was all of those things. Now, what would you say that people made fun of me for? Nothing. I was just always one of the shortest students, just quiet. And every time they did make fun of me, I get mad super easily. Sometimes I get so mad that I cry. A lot of the time I got so mad that I cry. People find that funny. It wasn't until I got to like 4th grade that I had anger management class I had to go to like once or twice a week, something like that. And he had pointed out one of the things, which was, you can't let people get you angry. You can't let people get you emotional because they only doing that because they enjoy seeing you cry. They like seeing you mad. They think it's funny. I never thought about it like that, but until that moment and looking back on 3rd grade and earlier in 4th grade when this happened and he shared that with me, then I started to look back like, oh, because I never understood why do they mess with me? Why do they bother me? But it made more sense that they find it entertaining. And I had to think back on all the times, like, for me, when I used to get mad back then, I used to get so mad, I used to scream, I used to go, I used to scream, used to yell, used to hit stuff, used to throw the table, throw the chairs, swing it at everybody, and I'd be crying, ripping up everything, break all my pencils, cursing up a storm, all that. And reminder, that's the funny part, is that they'd be scared for their lives. I had a whole room cleared out because I'd be snapping. But on that same note, they probably be laughing because guess what happened? Oh, they start saying, oh, he going Super Saiyan, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he getting mad, like, and it was a joke. But they know they were scared at the same time. And my plan was never to hurt anybody or hit anybody. But as the years went on and I started to focus that energy, it was a different story. So come to 4th grade, right? Around that time, yeah, them fights started rolling a lot because it got to a point where like, yo, you're not going to say nothing to me. You're not going to talk about my shoes. You're not going to talk about my mom. You're not going to talk about my hair. You're not going to talk about my clothes. You're not going to talk about nothing. You're going to shut up and you're going to stop talking to me, period. And if you don't, we're going to have a problem. So around that time, you said one thing to me, snap, fight, instantly. In and out of school, suspension, detention. My mom bringing me back to school like it was a time where it was like every week almost. My mom had to keep bringing me back. Good times. But it was bad because of the bullying. Now, of course, I hit the phase where I just started reacting, but it got to a point where I was fighting so much that they was like, yo, We don't know if you can stay in this school. We don't know if we can keep you here. We might have to send you to a different school. You might have to go to a disciplinary school, like where that's needed. Besides the fact that they start putting me in therapy and anger management and all that, you gotta leave the school. Now, reminder, it's not like I ain't like my school. It's not like I ain't like other kids in my school. It's just that it was a product of the bullying that I started developing. And don't get me wrong, I was already a little angry before that, and I already kept to myself a lot before that. But because they kept pushing me, people kept trying me, it made it worse. And it made it outward. And I couldn't control it. So right then and there, between the 4th and the 5th grade year, had started therapy. And throughout them therapy sessions, we talked about, you know, do you want to have friends? Do you want to make friends? Are you interested in making friends? Blah, blah, blah. And the answer is yes, because how many years went by where in school I just didn't have no friends? I didn't have nobody that I talked to on a daily basis that, you know, I could laugh. And, you know, I had it here and there because you're going to do that in school regardless. I wasn't completely alone, but I just never truly connected with any students, any kids in elementary school. And we started to talk about that in therapy. Do you want to have friends where you do it? Well, if that's the case, then you got to stop fighting. You have to learn how to hold your emotions. You have to learn how to just brush off what people say to you. You have to learn how to ignore them and stuff, right? And it was so hard to learn that because people got on my nerves so much. And the thing is this, it wasn't just one kid. It was a group of students that had the same mentality that just always picked on certain kids. And it wasn't just them picking on me. It was other kids that they messed with, but I'm just talking about myself because once I realized that they do this, that this happens to any kid that's quiet. This happens to any kid that keeps to themselves, any kid that doesn't talk, right? This happens to anybody. It's a certain group of kids with a certain type of mind that they was either raised or encouraged, or you just kind of develop when you click up with people. We know this. This happens in all levels. When you kids, when you're in middle school, when you're in high school, when you're in college, when you're in the full adult and you're just out here in this world, people click up and they become different people. So with that being said, in middle school, it wasn't as much of the bullying, but those same group of boys was still there. That I always had gotten fights with, that I always argued with, that they just always felt like they wanted to pick on me and say some stupid crap to me every time. Every time. Now, because of that, and me just being myself wasn't enough, it made it hard because, one, I started getting into my own fashion. You know, I started wearing skater clothes, you know, getting into the skate scene, Tony Hawk, you know, all that stuff, Element, DC brand, Chuck. I started getting into stuff like that, wearing my little emo wristbands, getting into my stuff. That's me to represent how I was feeling. But if it's one thing we know, man, for most part, as a black kid, if you into all that skating stuff, all that emo stuff, oh, you're going to get roasted. You're done. You're done. But see, I didn't know this, of course. Why would you? Because you're just being yourself. But when you start getting into that life, nah. So I could only go to school and dress one way, and then when I'm outside of school, I dress a different way. Or on dress down days, I would try to express myself, but guess what? Barrage of stuff. Oh, I don't fuck what you wearing. You looking at this, da-da-da-da-da. Making fun of you, talking trash, saying all that stuff. It was annoying. Because now I'm being myself, but it just ain't enough. And then, you know, I mentioned this in another video, but, you know, I started listening to my rock music in like 7th grade. You know, that represented me. That was my emotions. That's how I felt. And it just sucked that I couldn't play my music out loud. If I dropped my phone or my iPod or someone got my headphones and heard what I was listening to, well, I knew it was a rap. I knew they was going to roast me till the sun went down, right? And it just sucked to have that feeling inside of you that every little thing you do, there was a group of people, boys and girls, who would just always have something to say about what you do. And it plants. This goes into my other video where I talk about my loneliness. It plants something in you that makes you not want to open up at all, that makes you not want to deal with people at all, that makes you not want to express yourself at all. Because for years, I had to deal with the same boys, the same girls who always just roasting people, like all the time. I mean, just giving you a hard way to go. And I ain't just talking about, talking trash and all that, like talking, because we all do that. Oh, look at the shoes, young boy. Look at you, dickhead. We all did that kind of stuff. Who don't do that? It's funny, but I'm talking past the point where it's like enough is enough. And it's not just me. It was other students. It was other students, like I said, even in middle school. It was just other students. Some of those other students that used to get made fun of in elementary, when we got to middle school, they shifted their personalities and they started to fit in more. They didn't get messed with as much. But see, I still remain me, so I still remain a high target a lot of the time. But I just tried to lay low, keep my head down. I ain't argue with nobody. Not because I was scared, but because I didn't want to fight. I knew me. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to get into trouble no more. I didn't want to keep having these same conversations, same arguments, same debates, but it just never ended. Now, somewhere in where I talked about previously about fitting in the last video before this one, and we'll get into that in another video, the part about fitting in, when I started to get tired, and this is where I would say I started to break, because I started to realize, like, man, I'm getting tired of this, and if you can't beat them, join them type mentality, which is always bad. You never go to, if you can't beat them, join them, because you're going to end up somewhere you don't want to be and in a situation you don't want to be in. And, I started to make jokes and, make sound effects. I used to be rapping, used to, do stupid stuff, jump off of stuff, climb on stuff, eat nasty foods, mix stuff up in the lunchroom, all that. It was funny stuff, good times. But I didn't know at the time till it started to go on too long, and they started to only ask you to do those things. They didn't care about how you felt, only to do those things is when you mattered to them. Then you realize, damn, I'm being a puppet. I'm letting them use me. I'm doing too much just to fit in, just to get approval, just to avoid fighting and avoid arguing. That's what it was. So one particular thing, right? We had a couple students that were lesser than me, but not like less of a human or anything, less valuable. But we had a couple students that was skinnier, smaller, whatever than me, obviously had less than me, or couldn't speak as well as me, or, had whatever they had going on. And I found myself over time making fun of them because other people was making fun of them. People that's not from Philly, that moved to our school, or from a different school, different neighborhood to our school. I found myself making fun of them, bullying them, making jokes on them, and knowing that the same group of boys is roasting them too. And then it took some time, but over time I realized, like, I'm doing the same shit that they used to do to me. And because the attention not on me, I started putting it on other people. I had to realize that at one point during like 8th grade. I was like, yeah, I gotta stop, because like I'm becoming them. But like I'm starting acting like them because I was just so tired of it being me, getting made fun of, that you start to be the person who does the joking, right? That's one point where the bullying and just society and people and peer pressure breaks you a little bit, and it makes you become somebody you're not, and you forget where you came from. Now, I'm gonna mention this other thing where one time, this is the first, like, besides me fighting back and always arguing and going back and forth and getting suspended because of these same boys, there was this one time when I was in 7th grade. Actually, I missed this. I was trying to put it in order, but whatever. 7th grade, I had a group of 8th graders that just always, there was the same group of boys, one group of boys who used to always just mess with me every time. And we used to sit in the auditorium, we used to sit in grade order, all that kind of stuff. And these same boys just had to always sit behind me, talking shit, saying stuff, touching me, picking on me, whatever, whispering stuff, throwing stuff, because they just want to see me snap, right? But this one day, man, I had enough. One day I stood up, man, I turned around, I said, I'm tired of all y'all with me. I just went off. It was so funny, yo. Oh my God, I wish I had it on video or something. But I was, man, I'm tired of y'all fucking with me. I'm so tired of y'all. If y'all want to fight me, y'all can go right out in this hallway and fight me. I'll fight all y'all. I'm sick of this. Like, everybody was staring. Teachers were staring at me. And guess what? All them same 4 boys, there was like 4 or 5 of them that was just sitting there. They just stood there. They didn't even get up like, what you say, dickhead? Oh, I'll beat you up. It wasn't none of that. They just stood there like shocked. Because I was just like, man, I'm tired. So I'll beat you up. I'll fight all y'all. I don't even care about it. I was mad, crying, snapping, all that. I got up, grabbed my bag. I bust out the door. Mad. Great time. And guess what? The week or 2 after that, every time I seen them, handshakes. Oh, my bad. You know, we didn't know you was that mad. We didn't know that it was like that. All that BS, man. No, you just mad because you got put on the spot in front of teachers, in front of kids. Done. And they just stopped. That group of boys, particularly there, stopped messing with me after that point. And they already went to high school by the time I got to 8th grade. So I ain't see them no more. A couple of them I did see around the way. But after that point, I would see them around the neighborhood, and all of a sudden they respect me. All of a sudden they want props. All of a sudden they want handshakes. All of a sudden, oh that's Deja. Oh, yo, what's up, Dada? All that cool shit. Nah. Because now that I'm done, and I'm fed up, and I'm tired, oh, now you don't want to hear it. Now you don't want no parts, right? Lame. Lame as fuck. Gotta say, excuse my S, but lame as fuck. So, into high school, right? Even though I learned how to stand up for myself, and every time I had a bully or somebody just make fun of me or whatever, or even stand up for other people, right? It still didn't change the fact that it was hard to be myself, hard to express myself, hard to just be free and just let myself be, right? Couldn't even be me, even in high school, even after high school, because the damage and the impact of being like that and having to deal with that for so many years is just so deep, to the point where, like, you know, even when I started getting on social media, I was just worried about somebody saying something about, you know, like cyberbullying. It never happened, but like, because we know that's a thing, I just feared that. I just worried about that here and there, because that's just another layer. Like, as soon as you get involved, now it's another layer. When you quiet, it's already that. And then when you start fighting, it's that. And then when you start trying to fit in, it's another layer. And then when you get to high school and you start dating girls and you start talking to people, oh, it's more. It's more and more reasons to bully you. So as time went on, every time I took another step to express myself and get out there and socialize, it was just a new layer of anxiety, a new layer of fear, and it just made it worse and worse, all because way back when certain groups of kids just decided to keep messing with me. And I know I ain't the only one who had to deal with this. I know I ain't the only one. So we're gonna leave that there. And that's how it pretty much went. And I mean, there's a lot of smaller stories, but I ain't gonna drag it out and make this joint like half an hour. Point is just when you bully people and you mess with people, you never know how they gonna turn. You know, we see it all the time. Half of the people out here who, you know, get into situations, get into crime, get into trouble, constantly fighting, you know, they had enough. They snapped for various reasons. And the thing is, bullying ain't just kids on kids. It's adults to kids. Abusive parents are bullies. Abusive spouses, girlfriends, whatever, boyfriends are bullies. They're still bullies. People at your job who always make fun of you, who don't include you and stuff, who always clowning you, they're bullies. Bullies exist at all levels, in all shapes and forms, at all ages, in all organizations, in all jobs. It does not matter. They're always there. The problem is, what will you do about it when you see it? And if it is you, will you stand up for yourself? That's the question. Because I know right now, in my life, at this time, oh, when people start coming at me, oh, I come right back. And trust me, if somebody ever do say something today that digs too deep, oh, we get in a fight. And I have absolutely no problem doing that. Shoot, I walk around waiting for it sometimes. That's bad, but I hate to admit it. I'll just be waiting. So, yeah, bullying, it's a real thing. And it's part of the reason why I don't mess with people, because if you're not who they want you to be, where they want you to be, when they want you to be there, and act how they want you to act, X, Y, Z, they just gonna bully you. It is what it is.